Welcome to the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show.
Cup of Joe Wrestling Show?
With Joey Harris. A podcast for the wrestling fan on the go. So take your favorite beverage of choice and join Joey as he takes a look at some of the biggest shows on the WWE Network.
Welcome to the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Joey Harris, and we are broadcasting from makeshift studios in the shadow of South Central Virginia. You can follow the show on Twitter at Cup of Joe Pod. You can email the show at cupofjoewrestlingshow@gmail.com. If you would like to support the show, you can at paypal.me/cupofjoepod. And folks, back again, had a fantastic weekend. Went to the Atlantic Ocean, went to the beach, Oak Island in North Carolina. And as I was coming back, yesterday was Memorial Day, and I was bringing my sister-in-law back to her house, and we were traveling up, headed north on Interstate 95, and went into an area that was getting tornadoes. And we were getting the warnings on our phone, but we were not in an area that we could take shelter. It was like crazy, but we got through it, thankfully. Yeah, that was some scary stuff. Today, we look at TLC 2016. And this was the second show I watched with my free trial when I got the free trial back in 2016. And so I watched it because I was going to lose the free trial about a week and a half later or something like that. And my wife actually watched this with me, and she is convinced that all of the wrestlers go through their match. They actually have their matches beforehand earlier in the day. They go through the entire show. You can't convince her otherwise. And I said, you know what? That might be true. But if I was a wrestler and I'm falling off of these ladders into furniture and through furniture, I'm only doing it once. So if I have to do it twice, I'm not going to do it. So you got to film it the first time. Anyway, TLC 2016 was shown on the WWE Network on December the 4th, 2016. It was a SmackDown only event that was shown from the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. There were 12,500 in attendance. We get our WWE and TLC intros. Mauro Ranallo welcomes us to TLC. He, JBL, David Otunga, and Tom Phillips will be the announcers for the event. We start out with our SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. Rhino and Heath Slater versus the Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton with Luke Harper. The Spanish and German announce teams are introduced. Wyatt and Rhino start. They battle for position. Rhino with a wrist lock. Back and forth. Rhino with a clothesline. Orton tagged in and kicks Rhino. Rhino with a shoulder block. Slater tagged in and hits a forearm off the top rope. Orton beats Slater down. Slater rushes Orton, who backdrops Slater into the apron. Wyatt knocks Slater off the apron. Orton dumps Slater on the ropes. Orton stomps Slater. Wyatt tagged in and beats Slater down for a 2 count. Wyatt with a corner clothesline. Wyatt throws Slater out of the ring. Orton tagged in and goes for his ropes DDT. Slater blocks it, only to get power slammed back in by Orton. Orton gets a 2 count. Wyatt tagged in. He keeps the beatdown going. Slater escapes long enough to tag Rhino in. Rhino with a clothesline. Back and forth. Rhino with a shoulder tackle. He goes for the gore, but Orton pushes Wyatt away. Rhino goes out after Orton, but Harper pushes Orton away and gets hit by Rhino. Rhino gets back in against Wyatt, but Orton had been tagged in. Orton with an RKO to pin Rhino, and we have new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. We get a WWE Network ad. Charlie Caruso interviews Dean Ambrose. She asks about James Ellsworth. Ambrose says Ellsworth is okay, and his hot temper will be his game plan. Renee Young talks to AJ Styles. He says he knows Dean Ambrose and will prevail over Ambrose. We get a no DQ match. Nikki Bella versus Carmella. Flashback to what led up to the match. The bell rings and they go outside. Bella runs Carmella into the apron. Carmella with a head scissors to run Bella into the ring steps. Carmella gets a 2 count. Bella with a roll up for a 2 count. They trade counts. Carmella with a suplex. She gets another 2 count. Bella put into the trio of woe. Carmella grabs a kendo stick. She hits Bella with the stick several times. Bella gets out, but Carmella keeps hitting her. Carmella with the cone of silence, but Bella hits her with the stick to get out. They fight to the outside, back and forth. Bella hits Carmella in the head from the barricade. Back in, Bella continues to hit Carmella with the stick. Carmella throws Bella out. Bella sprays Carmella with a fire extinguisher. She does it several times. Bella hits the Rack Attack 2.0 to get the pin. Bella starts to leave and Carmella gets on the mic. She says she wasn't the one who attacked Bella at Survivor Series. It was Natalya. We get a WWE Supercard ad and then a Kay's Jeweler ad with Natalya, which is hilarious to me considering what just happened. Flashback to what has happened between Dolph Ziggler and The Miz. Charlie Caruso talks to Daniel Bryan. He thinks Dolph Ziggler would be a better Intercontinental Champion. He gets interrupted by The Miz. Miz is so good here. Ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. The Miz with Maurice versus Dolph Ziggler. The international announced teams are introduced. Ziggler and Miz are face to face. Ziggler with a takedown. They both go for moves and counters. Ziggler thrown outside. Miz with a drop kick. They fight outside. Miz gets Ziggler down and grabs the ladder. He slams the ladder on Ziggler. Ziggler slams Miz on the ladder. Miz runs the ladder into Ziggler. Back and forth. Ziggler rubs Miz's face into a ladder. Miz with a drop toe hold to Ziggler into the ladder. Miz brings the ladder in. He and Ziggler fight over the ladder. Tug of war. Ziggler uses the ladder to drive Miz into a corner. Both men down. Ziggler DDTs Miz onto the ladder. Both men down again. Ziggler grabs the ladder. He starts to set it up, and Miz hits Ziggler with a drop kick. Miz runs the ladder into Ziggler in the corner. Miz sets up the ladder as a bridge in the corner and attempts to superplex Ziggler from it. Ziggler knocks Miz off. Ziggler with an elbow to Miz off the ladder. Ziggler runs Miz back into the ladder. Ziggler sets up another ladder and climbs, but Miz grabs Ziggler's leg. Ziggler kicking at Miz. Miz pulls Ziggler off and Ziggler clotheslines Miz. He throws Miz out and starts to climb again. Miz gets back in and turns the ladder over. They push the ladder on each other. Miz mocks Daniel Bryan. Miz drop kicks the ladder on Ziggler several times. Ziggler throws the ladder on Miz, both men down. Ziggler sets the ladder up. Both men climb the ladder. They fight on the ladder. Miz knocked off. He grabs Ziggler's leg and rams it into the ladder. Miz tips the ladder over. Miz drives Ziggler's knee into the ladder repeatedly. He wraps Ziggler's leg in the ladder and puts the figure 4 on. He then stomps the ladder. Ziggler tries for a super kick, but can't get it, and Miz comes back with the skull-crushing finale. Miz sets up the ladder. He climbs the ladder and grabs for the belt. Ziggler knocks the ladder over and Miz is left hanging. Ziggler knocks the ladder into Miz to knock him off. Miz grabs his leg, both men down. Miz being checked by a referee on the outside. Ziggler climbing the ladder. Miz grabs at Ziggler. Miz with a slingshot powerbomb on the ladder. Miz sets up another ladder and both he and Ziggler climb. They trade shots. Ziggler headbutts Miz off the ladder. Ziggler grabs at the title and the Miz comes back and kicks Ziggler in the crotch. Ziggler falls off the ladder and Miz gets the title. Miz gets on the mic and dedicates his win to Daniel Bryan. He antagonizes Bryan and the crowd. We get a tribute to the troops ad. Chairs match, Kalisto versus Baron Corbin. A feature on what led up to the match. Kalisto out first and looks under the ring for chairs when there are dozens behind him. He launches several into the ring. Corbin comes to the ring. Kalisto attacks immediately. Corbin overwhelms Kalisto. Back and forth. Corbin goes out and Kalisto hits a plancha on Corbin. Corbin beats Kalisto against the barricade and the apron. He throws Kalisto into some chairs. Corbin gets a 1 count. Corbin sets a chair in the corner. Corbin with a big slam for a 2 count. Corbin sets up chairs. Kalisto drop toe holds Corbin into the chair set up in the corner. He follows it up with a short hurricane run onto the chair. Kalisto with a seated senton to Corbin to drive him through the set up chairs. Kalisto with a dive on the Corbin on the outside and both men down. Corbin rolls Kalisto back in and gets a 2 count. Corbin throws chairs into a pile in the ring. Kalisto rolls to the outside. Corbin swings a chair, but Kalisto avoids the chair shots. Callisto hits a Hurricane Rana off the barricade onto Corbin. He throws a chair at Corbin and kicks Corbin into the barricade. Callisto with a springboard leg drop to Corbin. Callisto with a chair on Corbin and moonsaults Corbin for a 2 count. Callisto hits Corbin with a chair several times. Callisto piles chairs up, back and forth. Callisto comes off the second rope onto Corbin, who smashes Callisto with a chair in midair. Corbin hits the end of days on the pile of chairs to get the pin. Corbin comes over to the announce table and says that's what's going to happen to anyone who gets in his way. We get a supercard ad. Charlie Caruso talks to Natalya about what was said by Carmella earlier. Natalya says it's absurd and wishes Becky Lynch good luck. We get a Royal Rumble ad. Flashback to what's led up to the SmackDown Women's title match. WWE SmackDown Women's Championship tables match. Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss. Lynch gets a great reaction when she comes out. The bell rings and Lynch goes on the attack. She gets Bliss down and goes for a table. Bliss attacks Lynch before she can get a table. Lynch throws Bliss into the barricade. Lynch goes for a powerbomb, but Bliss grabs the ropes. She kicks Lynch from the apron. Back and forth. Lynch with a snap suplex. Lynch goes for a table. She gets one and tries to set it up. She sets it up at ringside. She tries to suplex Bliss onto the table, but Bliss fights her off. Bliss attacks Lynch in the ring. They trade shots. Bliss bites Lynch. She attacks Lynch on the mat. She gets a flurry of offense. She grinds Lynch's face into the canvas. Bliss gets another table. Lynch goes to attack Bliss, who runs Lynch into the ring post. Bliss puts the table in the ring. She runs Lynch into the apron and throws Lynch in. Bliss sets the table up. Bliss beats Lynch down in the corner. Lynch put on the table and Bliss goes up top, but gets caught and Lynch goes for a superplex. Bliss fights Lynch off. Lynch turns the table over. Bliss throws Lynch down. Bliss sets the table in the corner. Back and forth. Lynch with a flurry of offense. She tries to run Bliss into the table, but Bliss blocks the Bexplex attempt. They each hit big moves on the other. Bliss sets the table up. Lynch grabs Bliss to put her through the table, but Bliss turns the table over. Bliss with a DDT on the turned over table. Dueling chants go out. Lynch puts Bliss into the disarmer through the table leg. She follows it up with a pump handle slam. Lynch sets the table up in the corner. She puts Bliss on the table and climbs up top. Bliss fighting her off. Bliss slams Lynch off. Lynch reverses a corner whip, and Bliss crashes into the table. Both wrestlers down. They fight to the outside and onto the apron. Bliss powerbombs Lynch from the apron to win the match and become the new SmackDown Women's Champion. Charlie Caruso talks to Becky Lynch, who says she is upset with herself and feels she let herself down. We get another Kay's Jeweler ad and an ad for John Cena hosting Saturday Night Live. We then get a flashback to what has happened between AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose. Main event, TLC match for the WWE Championship. AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose. Styles gets his share of cheers when he comes out. The bell rings and Ambrose attacks immediately. He drives Styles into several turnbuckles. He gets Styles down and throws a chair into the ring. Styles gets the chair and hits a ladder. Ambrose was sliding in the ring to knock Ambrose down. Styles sets the ladder up. He and Ambrose stop each other from climbing the ladder. Ambrose hits Styles with the ladder. They fight to the outside. Ambrose throws a table on Styles. He runs Styles into a chair. He suplexes Styles onto a ramp. He puts Styles on a table and climbs a ladder, but Styles gets off the ladder. Ambrose with a lariat to Styles from behind. Ambrose dumps a trash can on Styles and knocks Styles down. Ambrose throws Styles back to ringside. Ambrose goes to hit a move off the barricade, only to get hit with a drop kick from Styles as Ambrose was coming off. Styles with a running clothesline to Ambrose. He misses a second attempt and Ambrose crotches Styles. Ambrose runs with a chair and hits Styles. Ambrose sets a table up in the ring. Styles runs and knocks the ladder over. Styles throws the ladder at Ambrose. He then slams Ambrose onto the ladder. Styles sets the ladder up to suplex Ambrose onto it. Ambrose counters and catapults Styles into the ladder. Styles falls outside and Ambrose throws the ladder onto Styles. Ambrose brings the table into the ring and starts to set it up. Styles hits Ambrose from behind with a chair. Styles attacks Ambrose with the chair. Styles sidewalk slams Ambrose through the chair. He attacks Ambrose with the chair again. Styles throws more chairs into the ring. He sets the chairs up and goes to suplex Ambrose onto them. Ambrose blocks and throws Styles through the chairs. Ambrose slams Styles onto the chairs. Ambrose grabs a chair and jumps off the second rope onto Styles with it. He then runs Styles into a chair leg. Ambrose sets up a table in the corner. Styles counters and suplexes Ambrose into the table, both men down. They fight back to their feet, back and forth. Ambrose goes to superplex Styles to the outside, but Styles fights Ambrose off. Styles goes for the phenomenal forearm, but Ambrose blocks it. They trade shots. Styles backdrop to the outside. Ambrose takes the announce desk apart. He puts Styles on the desk. He sets a ladder on the German announce table. Ambrose attacks Styles with punches. He hits an elbow drop to drive Styles through the table. Ambrose trying to get up. He gets another ladder and puts it in the ring. Ambrose starts to climb, only to get hit with the phenomenal forearm from Styles. They start to climb opposite sides of the ladder. They trade blows on the ladder. They both fall off the ladder. Ambrose spins Styles into the ladder. Ambrose starts to climb the ladder. Styles grabs Ambrose and they both spill to the outside. Styles with a somersault into the reverse DDT to Ambrose off the apron set on a table, and Styles with a 450 splash off the ropes to drive Ambrose through the table. Styles gets back in the ring and sets a ladder up. James Ellsworth comes out with a neck brace on. Styles knocks him down. He takes the ring steps apart and goes to slam Ellsworth on them, but Ambrose stops him and delivers dirty deeds to Styles on the steps. Ambrose gets in the ring. He sets the ladder up. Styles grabs Ambrose by the leg. They climb both sides. Ambrose knocks Styles off. Ellsworth comes and turns the ladder over, and Ambrose falls through a table set up at ringside. Both wrestlers down and the announcers are confused. Styles gets in the ring. He sets the ladder up and climbs. He gets the title. Ellsworth celebrates. Ambrose stunned. Styles holds the championship as they sign off from Dallas. Final thoughts. This was a pretty good show. Nothing earth-shattering, but a good way to spend a few hours. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TheJoeyHarris. If you like the show, please leave a review on iTunes, Apple Podcast, or your preferred podcast app. I would really appreciate it. Thank you for joining me this week. This is Joey saying so long from the heart of Virginia.
The Cup of Joe Wrestling Show is a production of Baby Kangaroo Media.